So we're going to start with like every week we're going to dedicate this class to Slachat Chalei Tzahal Sefer Torah Ma'al Chatufim B'Rim B'Nefesh B'Guf and Dilun Nishmat Kadosh Hillel Diner Shem Yikon Damo. We are just finished the story of Gidon, where Yerubal, which ended with him, the people offering him to be their king, and him refusing. Him refusing because God is your king. And then we said he makes this ephod, and it turns to idol worship. We explained the connection to mean that once he wore the ephod, he meant God will be your king, which through me. So so in practice, he was the unofficial king. He refused the kingdom, but acted as king. That's because of their fault. God was the king and not him. Now, the fact that de facto that was the king, except for the idol worshipping of the ephod, which is a problem. Anyone wearing it became a god. We're going to see it lead when he dies. It causes other problems because if he is a king and he dies, then who's his son that's supposed to inherit the kingdom? Is a king's what makes you a king versus a democracy is that once the king dies, his son becomes king instead of him. And Avimelech and Gidon married many women. You saw that previously, and he had many children. How many children? He has 70 boys. Many women, 70 boys. Something a king is not supposed to do. But he wasn't a king, so he was allowed to do that. The story in Boom Tet, it began. Yeah. Okay. Now there's two parts. The last chapter pasuk of Perik Chet is important because it says that Am Yisrael, when Gidon dies, two things happen. First of all, they start worshiping idols, right? And then, like they forgot God. Pasuk Lamedan. V'lo zachu bnei Yisrael et Hashem. Elohem הוציא אותם מיד כל אויביהם מסביב. ולא עשו חסד עם בית ירובעל גדעון ככל הטובה אשר עשה עם ישראל. They were ungrateful to God and ungrateful to Yerubal, to Gidon, which means he kind of lost after he dies, he lost his status. He wasn't the king anymore. That helps explain what happens afterwards. Avimelech ben Yerubal goes to one of the younger kids of Yerubal, of Gidon, goes to Shem to his brother, his uncles, right, from his mother's side. And he convinces them the following statement. Talks to all the important people in Shem. You can't have 70 people controlling. You can't have 70 kings. There's no official Yoresh. There's no king. Meaning there was no king. They did not say, "Oh, the eldest should be the king." Rather, there was kind of power struggle going on between these 70 boys, each one claiming, and in default, they were in control of nobody. No one was the king. That was the chosak chatatov, that they didn't say, "Oh, your eldest or someone should be king." No one was the king. That, and he now then says, "I need you a favor. I'll be the king. I'm blood, right? I'm blood relative. I'm your nephew, right? So what do you want? How can we help you? I need money. Give me capital for my campaign. We'll see what his campaign is in a second." And they convince them, and they give him 70 silver pieces. And a bet Baal Brit. A bet Baal Brit, what is bet Baal Brit? Right? It's an idol. They give him from a temple of the Baal, right? One of the Baal, they take some Hekdesh money, of idol worshiping Hekdesh money, and say, "Well, we don't give you any money, but whoa, wait a minute, there's a temple here, and people give this Hekdesh money to this temple. We have 70 silver pieces stacked up. You can have that."
70 silver pieces and son.
For sure. I probably said 70 sons. It's symbolic. We'll give you one for every son. Well, this is they're given 70 silver pieces. What Hekdesh Avodah Zarah money, right? What did he do with Hekdesh Avodah Zarah money? He hires mercenaries, the scum of the earth, and they get together and they attack. They go to Efrat, where his Gidon's family lived, and execute everyone. They slaughter everyone. These mercenaries slaughter everyone except for one. His youngest son Yotam is able to escape and hides away. Everyone's dead. Well, no power struggle anymore. There's only one king left. Then the people of Shechem appoint Avimelech as their king and the king of the area. So Avimelech is not the king of Am Yisrael because that, like, he should have been worthy because he really saved the entire area. At least the northern countries, tribes should have seen him as their leader, but that they were ungrateful. But Balei Shechem now and the areas around Shechem appoint him as their king. Then Yotam hears about this. That he's appointed of Shechem. Now he's coming from Ephraim and he's going to the area of Shechem. This is that area. And he goes on top of a Har Gerizim. Har Gerizim, I was there in our service. Har Gerizim is right above the city of Shechem. So he stands on Har Gerizim looking at the people of Shechem, and he calls out and tells them a parable. Mashal Yotam. Tell them a story. In his speech, what's the story? Once upon a time, the trees decided to appoint themselves a king of all trees. And they approached the olive. They said, Olive, be our queen. And she said, I'm too sorry, I can't. Why? I'm too busy doing things that are important. I create oil that is people use, kings and simple people use. Go find yourself someone else. They go find, they go to the Dinar. Please, you be our king. Dinar says, sorry, I can't. I'm doing better things. I'm making delicious fruit, right? Go, I'm going to start moving around the trees and ruling on them. I'm busy doing something important. And then they continue to the grape, making wine, makes people happy and kings happy, right? And so God, and then they go to all the trees. All trees say, we have better things to do. Eventually they found the Atad, which is a thorn bush. Thorn bush says, you know what? I'm not doing anything. Now, this is a political statement. Who wants to be a king? Who wants to be a king according to Shayyotam? If you're not contributing to society anyway, you're not doing real things, okay, then you can deal with politics. That's what you wanted. That's statement number one. Statement number two, the terms. The Atad, the thorn bush of the Atad comes and says, fine, I'm willing to be a king in one condition, that you live next to me. All the other trees said, I'm too busy moving around. I can't move around and deal with your problems because I'm busy. I'm busy doing important things. The Atad has one condition. I want you to live by me. I'm not going to go live by you. I want you to live by me. Why? Because when I burn, it's a thorn bush. It's a thorn bush that burns pretty easy. I want to make sure you burn with me. And it's burned even the strongest of trees. So that is his parable. Now, what's it say? There he says, fine. If you really point to Avimelech, do you think that this shows gratitude to my father? And he explains the mashal. This is the way to say thank you to my father for all he did to you, you ungrateful people. You killed all the sons and point this guy as your king. My father risked his life. He saved you from Midian, and you killed everybody, killed all the sons, and made Avimelech, who was the son of his amato. He wasn't even the son of a wife. Not because he's the most worthy, rather because he's your brother. Now, there's a choice. I hope you're happy. If you did for the right reasons, then you should rejoice in him. But if not, if you did not do justice with Yerubal, with my father, if this is truly an unjust act, an act of ungratefulness towards my father, then your punishment should be that fire should come and from Balei Shechem and should burn Avimelech. You should be the source of his downfall. You all burn with it. After giving, meaning you're going to be the source of his downfall as well. So this is his threat. I want your intentions. I don't know your intentions, why you gave him the money, why you're backing him. If your intentions are pure, rejoice. If your intentions are not pure, I'm cursing you that fire should come and burn you all. including Avimelech. And then after giving this mashal, he runs away. And he hides in a place called Be'era. So, and Avimelech's in charge for 3 years. Now, it's in those 3 years, seems that he does take control of the area of at least the from Ephraim the northern tribes. After 3 years, then bad blood starts between Balei Shem and Avimelech. Bad blood, and they betray him. Why is this bad blood? The prophet says this bad blood is sent from God in order to bring on the curse and avenge Avimelech. Avenge Gidon's what they did to Gidon's sons. Meaning Yotam's curse is coming not here because of the curse or because of God's justice. This is not natural bad blood. This is bad blood that God sends you. It's important to follow that in the Tanakh. Sometimes God intervenes in history by tweaking things a little bit. Bad blood. He makes bad blood between them. That's part of the plan. Where does the bad blood become? Balei Shem, the people of Shem, start working as bandits. Now, bandits in the listim was a profession in the past. People think, Robin Hood, that was the profession. People, their full-time job was they robbed people from walking on the roads. They're bandits. They lived in communities of bandits, and they attacked. They collected tax. They didn't kill the people necessarily. Rather, you take their money or you steal the property. And part of the job of the king is to protect and make the road safe. We know that in Dvorah, you couldn't use the roads anymore because there were too many bandits. You're always being attacked. So usually the king protects us from non-Jews harassing us. Here, the bandits are for people of Shem. Right? They start working as bandits. And it's told to Avimelech that, listen, do something about your cousins, your uncles and cousins. They're attacking people. They're raiding parties. And people are angry at Avimelech for doing nothing. That's it. Then one day, Gaal, person named Gaal, right, comes with his soldiers to Shem. And the people of Shem trust him. Was he sent by Avimelech? It's unclear if he was sent by Avimelech or as head of security of the area. He says on his own accord, I'm going to take care of this. So he plays undercover cop, and he becomes their friend. He befriends them, right? And with everything together, they celebrate. They go to the field and harvest the field together because it was the harvest. Come in. They pick the wines, the grapes, and they make wine and they celebrate and get drunk together. And they go to the idol, the bet Avodah Zarah together, and they get drunk. And they have this whole idol worshiping party. And when they're drunk, they start cursing Avimelech. And Gaal there comes and says, his name is Gaal ben David. Who is Avimelech? Who is Shem? Right? Kinev Dena. Right? Hello, Ben Yerubal, Uzut Kidov, Dudan Sheikh Amor Shem, Aduan Avdena Anachno. Like, who is this Avimelech altogether? And his head of the city, Shem, his name is Zvul. We pay taxes to him. We have to listen to them. We're Mechamor of Shem. He was the original owner of Shem. His son should be in charge. The original owner of Shem from Yaakov Avinu. And this is what they become friends, and they start cursing. And then Gaal starts talking mutiny. Tells them, I wish the people were under my control. I will remove Avimelech. And I'll tell Avimelech, take your things and leave. Now, so this is what he's drinking with his new friends, Pir Shem. And word comes to Zvul, the head of the city, and says, wait a minute, this guy comes with his army, his name's Gaal, and you should hear what he's saying. He's planning mutiny, rebellion. Right? He's planning, I was spoken rebellion. He wants to remove Avimelech, but also you. Right? He spoke against this Zvul. So he gets angry, sends a message to Avimelech and tells him, listen, Gaal and his men and soldiers are in Shem, and they're they're creating an uprising against you. Now, let's again. He's coming with soldiers. He's
He just come.
with an army. He seems to be like a Gaban Evid. He seems to be one of the security guards of with the army under Avimelech's power, and therefore he's so upset. Now they could be upset. Notice Avimelech heard what people of Shechem are doing, and does nothing. That is so an army of his could be a Magad or some high one of his Ksinim, officers with an army comes, their platoon or whatever, or an army, and is speaking bad against them. Now they're happy with they understand that they're doing nothing to the people of Shechem. They're getting away with it because Avimelech, letting them get away with it. Anyway, so Zvul sends word to Avimelech. Avimelech, he tells them that he's inciting the people against you. Come quickly tonight, you and with your army, and hide out in the city. And early in the morning, when he'll leave the city, he won't be protected by the city anymore. He'll go to the field again. Attack him, take him down, bring vengeance on him. And sure enough, Avimelech gets the word, and he takes the army with him, and they split his army to four units, and they hide on the mountains. I mean, if you're ever in Shem, I was there for over a year in Har Eval. So when you see Har Eval, Har Gezim, where Shem is, much between the mountains, it's surrounded by mountains. So it takes different sides of the mountain and facing the entrance of the city, and they hide there all night. In the morning, Gaal and his men about to leave the city, and they start going down the mountain to attack. And then a famous conversation, Gaal sees the army going down, turns to Zvul. Now he has a hangover from last night, getting drunk and all partying all night. He tells him, do you see people running down the mountain? What was that? And Zvul tells him, Sel Harim Ataroik Anashim. No, those are the shadows of the mountains. It's playing tricks on your mind. Okay. Sometime later, he says, they are people. I see them. It's an army charging us. And then one's come from that direction, one from that direction, one comes from that direction, four directions they're attacking us. And then Zvul says, let's see your big mouth now. Let's see you now speak against Avimelech. Remember you said, who's Avimelech? Why should we listen to him? These are the people. You're not afraid of Avimelech. You said if it was up to me, I would banish Avimelech. Here's your chance. Put your money where your mouth is. He says, I will. And he takes this is interesting. The people of Shechem join Avimelech, join Gal. It says he got friends, and the incitement did work. He was able to incite the people. It wasn't false information. It's now our chance. He has his army there. And Lifnei Balei Shem, he leads the Balei Shem, the ones that were doing all the stealing, and they're angry all now with Avimelech. Again, Avimelech promised I'll help you out, but they didn't really help him out. They expected more. If they're stealing, that means they weren't rich. And he told them, listen, I'll be king, I'll help you out. It'll be beneficial for you. If you're stealing, that means you're not rich. And they have a big battle, and they fight till they break in two parts. Two groups attack the people of Shechem that are in the fields, harvesting, unprotected, and two attack the gate. And Avimelech is in the group that's attacking the gate. And they fight all day, and Avimelech eventually captures the city and kills everyone and knocks down the city and assaults it to make sure that people can't grow anything there later on. So we see there the people of Shechem, it started.
He didn't kill them.
No, we'll get there in a second. Right? Yeah. Was say if it kills.
וישב המלך בארמה ויגרש לו את גל ואחיו משבט
No, it's a guy. Yeah. Oh. Let's say, skip the day, skip the battle, right? Skip the battle. Day one, now it jumps to day two. Day one, they fight, and God takes in front of Shem, and Avimelech. Eventually, they fight at the gates, and they're not able to enter the city. Day one, he's not enter the city. They close the gates. The people in the people of Shem close the gates and protect Gal in the city. That's day one. Gal, so they were victorious. Not they weren't destroyed. They weren't defeated in day one. The day after, and Avimelech resides in a place called Arama. And that day, Gal gets the people of Shem together and said, "This is dangerous. Avimelech is attacking us," and he decides to banish Gal from the city. So Gal is banished from the city. They're sure it's over because Gal was the person that incited them. Gal started all this mess. They banish Gal from the city and his men. They're sure things are back to normal. The next day they go out to the fields as though everything's normal. But Avimelech is not forgiving, and then Avimelech comes and attacks again and slaughters people, the unsuspecting people in the city, and then goes in the city and destroys it. I'm sorry, I skipped that part of the battle. For some reason, I skipped when reading the screen, but that's on day two. So the battle took 2 days. Day one, when Gal leads them, they are successful and protect themselves. Once they banish Gal and they're sure the war is over, because the insider is gone, then Avimelech comes, and sure enough, like the Zela of Yotam, fire came. I noticed one of the times said the fire is going to start from Shem. So the fire started from people of Shem. They started the rebellion against Avimelech, and Avimelech burnt them, destroyed them completely. Now, from afterwards, it says after he destroys the city, Vaishmu kol balei migdal Shem, ve'avot tzayech bet el brit. Now, we saw this before in Sukkot. Remember Sukkot and Migdol? They had a tower. Many times you had a city, and then you had a tower within the city. Instead of building, in case the city's walls are breached, you go to a more secure site. So the Balei Shem, those who he gave them original money, those who were doing the raiding, those who incited, who fought him, as soon as he breached the city, they ran, and they're the important people, the rich people of the city. They went and hid in this tower. So after he captures the city and destroys the city, he has to deal with the tower. They tell him they're in the tower. His family, right, the Balei Shem, the people that he's angry with, he comes and says, "Follow me." Takes axes, goes to near Salmon. We can see where that is today, and they chop down trees there, and everyone bring some tree, a tree branch or logs with you, and everyone takes a log of branch, takes an axe, cuts a log, and they bring it, surround the tower with the wood, and they light it aflame, smoking everyone to death. 1,000 people, men and women, were killed, and that.
York. In the Middle Ages, they like full of Jews and stuck them in the tower. It's like exactly the same thing.
Yeah, here they didn't stick them in. Here they ran for refuge there, and then he says, "Okay, just light a flame," and kills 1,000 people are killed in that tower. Tower is 1,000 people. We hear also that also women and children also were hiding there, which makes sense. Is that the city's under attack, the important people and the women and children are hiding in the tower, and they're all dead. Now, Avimelech's wrath does not end there. He continues to nearby city of Tavetz. Why does he continue to the nearby city of Tavetz? Unclear. We have it must be that just he knows who the Balei Shem are. Balei Shem are not just a name, people of Shem. They're families, and some of these Balei Shem, some of these people called Balei Shem, they lived in the nearby city of Tavetz. Not everyone lived in the city of Shem. So Shem and its nearby villages or cities also where Balei Shem reside. And he says, I'm vengeance all Balei Shem. And there's some of these that live there. And he goes to them and does the same thing. And there also, he not destroyed the city. There's also a tower there. And similarly, everyone runs to the city, just like beforehand. Now, the difference is, here it says, Yalu al Gagham. The same thing. It's almost, there's only one difference that's unclear if the towers were built the same. Because it says here, Yalu al Gagham Migdal. Meaning, there you can, in the second tower, unlike the first one, where it doesn't spell us, people could stand on the roof of the second tower. The first tower, it seems they were all inside the roof, inside the building, but they weren't on top. Here, they're also on top. So Avimelech says, everyone knows the drill. Take your axe, cut the wood, bring the wood, burn them down. I'm the way when he's there to when he's about to light the fire. Avimelech says, I'll light the fire. And a woman throws a pilach rechev, meant for grinding grain into wheat into flour. She takes it from the top of the roof, throws it down on him, hits him on the head, cracks his skull. He sees his skull is cracked. He quickly tells his Nav, please kill me. I don't want people to remember in history that a woman killed me. And his servant listens to him, takes his sword and stabs him to death. And nobody knows that he was killed by a woman except millions and millions of Lemdei Tanakh throughout history. You know, his plan didn't go as he expected. All we hear is that he tried, never know, but no, ever know. So his honor, that's what he thinks about towards the end. I should die honorable death. Shaul didn't want to be tortured. And there the servant said no. So you compare the stories, Shaul's thinking about torture, and he didn't want to be tortured, and therefore, and he asked, and he says, you're the king. No. Here, I want respect. And they said, oh, sure, I'll kill you. And kills him. Meaning, a true king can't kill the king. Oh, this is Avimelech. Oh. So it's kind of, maybe to compare the stories, you see that he didn't have the respect of a real king. We're just thinking, how can I dare thinking I'll kill the king? And as soon as everyone sees Avimelech's dead, they all go home. One very powerful pasuk, pasuk nun hey. Okay, like it's not a big deal. It was all about a one-man show. He's dead. No more king. Let's find a different king. They don't go to Yotam. It's over. And by this punishment also to Avimelech and also the people of Shem. This is God's doing to punish also the people of Shem for what and to fulfill the curse of Yotam. So, Mamash Meforash, that these events occurred in order to fulfill Yotam's curse. That fire should come from people of Shem as a sign that what they did was not okay to Yerubal and his family.
The Navi doesn't don't talk about the time of
No, the time is, yeah, they understood that not ready for king. Now, if you look at the stories, compare the two stories, you have Gideon who's offered to be king and says no because God is your king, versus his son who takes the kingship from force. Both showing that this not the nation's not ready for a king yet. A king, eventually, we know it. The process is God chooses the king. The king is not the one who asks to be the king. He's not asked by the people to be the king. He's asked by God to be the king. It's showing you what happens if, like, option number one, the people choose the king. That's Yerubal, no. And then there's someone grabs the kingdom by force. Also doesn't work. Doesn't stick. So there's two attempts for kingdom, don't stick. The kingship that is going to stick eventually is going to be the kingship that starts from Asher Yibcha Hashem Elokecha. The pasuk in the Dvarim, where God says, you should choose amongst your brethren someone who God will tell you. So it starts with God, and then the people appoint him. Doesn't start with the people. It doesn't start with the king. It starts with God. That's what these stories seem to allude to. The next few stories, they're not stories. It says they were shoftim. Tula ben ויקום אחאב אבימלך פרק י' יושב ישראל תולה ben פועה ben דודו איש יששכר. Well, all that's important here in these shoftim, that the commentaries point out, is following the name of the tribes. There are a tribe, there is a shofet from almost every tribe. Right? Yeah, it would be right. With B'Shem Binyamin, we had a Dvorah. Here we have a Shevet Ephraim. Now we have this Shofet called Tola ben Puah. He's from Shevet Issachar. You don't have a lot of characters in Shevet Issachar, but there's a Shofet from Shevet Issachar. His name is Tola ben Puah. And he lives, even though he's from Issachar, he lives in Har Ephraim, in that area. And Vishpot Yisrael 23 Shana, and he's buried in Shamir. After him, Yeir Giladi, from Gilad.
A lot of space in the book. Like 2% of the novel, that's it.
Yeah.
23 years gets 2% of the novel.
But he opens a farm of ayarim. Ayarim is young donkeys, and he said, "Now, why?" It was very surprising, and he has entire. He's known for he has 30 boys, all riding 30 donkeys, right? And each one had 30 donkeys. I mean, each of his 30 sons had his own donkey monopoly or company. So they're donkey breeders, and they tremendous. Now, why is that important? That's unclear, but it seems to me that it's trying to say that he was his strength is economy, meaning he brought donkeys are meant for transportation, logistics. That's where he did his business, selling donkeys, traveling from one place to another place. What?
Until the time was sworn out. Like this, it lasted a long time.
And now he's now his place is called Chavat Yair, which is important because again, when Shoftim came out, everyone knew what Chavat Yair was, and they're like, "Oh, Chavat Yair, it's the name of Yair," and he's buried in a place called Kamun.
It's on the other side of the year.
That's it. That's what's surprising. He's in the Gilad. It's not. It's with like the southern Golan, like it's beyond the other side of the Jordan, like you said. Which is how is he ruling? Wouldn't make sense unless he has good forms of transportation via the donkeys, right? He moves around, therefore he can lishpat. Now, again, we saw throughout the story of Gidon, people are worshiping idols. The money was taken from idols. This is idol worshiping is not being balanced, and Am Yisrael continue suffering, and it gets worse. This time they start worshiping all Aram, Eloi Sidon, Eloi Moab. Am Yisrael moved from worshiping idols of the Baal, local Canaanite border idols. Now they start worshiping idols from outside of Israel. That means outside influences, the northern gods and the eastern gods of Sidon. They start taking place in Israel, and then the Plishtim take base, and we're going to see more about that Bezrat Hashem next week.
Sure.
Laila Tov.